So I would like to give you a couple of insights into my company and some activities what we have been doing in the HR, or we call it people and culture space. And sorry. So this is my company, or not my one, but I'm employed, sorry. This is the Hahn Group, and you see this is a picture from one of our factories here in Rheinland-Pfalz, close to Mainz. So what do? We are a machine builder, or we produce we do industrial automation and robotic solutions. So we produce actually these industrial lines for many well-known customers, and they actually then can produce products. For instance, Continental is one of our customers. They get like one of these production lines, and then they can produce their displays in a really automated fashion manner. Or we have other customers in the healthcare and pharma space, and we produce the pipettes for the corona test, or even in the consumer good for packaging, Dr. Oetker, and then they do that all automated. So we are a classical small and medium company in Germany with 1,800 employees in 26 locations, in both in Germany but also overseas in several countries. And it is a classical founder story. So one of the German engineers started 30 years ago, came up with a wonderful automation solution, and then grew to this company. This is a really new industry, and you may have heard the last couple of years there was not so good reputation, because everyone said like, oh, those guys are going to kill our jobs. But the contrary actually happens, because as you know, the war of talent, and we have a very scarcity of blue-collar jobs, or any kind of jobs or talent. So actually we automate that, and robots are doing these production lines. Okay, so now over to what is my job in this company. So I'm responsible for human resources, we call it people and culture. And I really need to work with data. So, and I would like to give first a couple of insights. There is a number of data sources what is to everyone available in the human or in people and culture. And there is, for instance, an opportunity to do some predictive people analytics, so that you actually can describe, you can with descriptive statistics describe what you're seeing, what kind of data you're getting. You can also do some diagnostics. So you can understand why is happening something. You do some correlations, and then the state of the art is predictive people analytics. We are nowhere there yet, but it obviously would be my dream at one point to use that. Okay, so now over to you, because you have been listening a lot to me, but I would like to invite you to do a little survey with me. I hope you have all a smartphone or a mobile phone, or maybe on your desktop. Would you mind to go on the website? You don't need to download anything, but maybe you know it already, www.menti.com. There is a code, and there pops up this question, and I would love to know from you how mature is your use of data. You have a scale from 1 to 10, or I give you a minute, and actually to rate how much or how are you using already people data in your company, or is it very sophisticated, very advanced? So from 1 to 10. Okay, we have quite a few people who have, but this is the average. Okay, the 8 people have been voting. Okay. More, it goes towards more no. 18. Almost everyone have voted. Well, okay, we see here the last couple of. So it's very interesting, because as you see, some of you have already maybe some first exposure to data, and you know how maybe important that is, but it's very difficult to be there. But I think this is the future where to go. And I see it very much in my company because I'm surrounded by engineers and they do all these predictive analysis on the machines. Actually, we should also leverage that opportunity in people and culture. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for voting. So how to get started? For those who are not quite familiar, there is even easy ways to get started. There is a number of opportunities or access to data you all have been getting or collecting. You see, you have some employee data maybe in your payroll system or HRIS. You get information from employee surveys, from interviews, from recruiting, from compensation and ban, from learning and development, and so forth and on. If you put that into a good structure, and this is the very first way how to get started, it really will help you to get some insights and be much more efficient and effective in making decisions from a people side. And so how is it in my company? So as you saw, I'm a kind of small company. I'm not very mature people and culture operations. We have no HRIS. We have payroll data here and there, but no HRIS. This is the life on the Mittelstand. And of course, I have limited resources. You know, I have not a big HR department or people and culture. Everyone is doing a lot of transactional work, and they're up to here because they need to make sure that we hire the people, that we pay the people correctly, that we do L&D, and so forth. And obviously, you saw the way what my company does. We have maybe 90% engineers and technicians. So my management is very analytical driven. They would not approve me any business case if I come up with a wonderful story and say, look, you know, we need to do something here in development, or we have a leadership issue. They wouldn't believe me because they are trained to receive data and make decisions on facts and numbers. Plus, I remember there was yesterday a very wonderful presentation from the Albright Foundation, and I see Georg here as well. Charlotte mentioned as well in the German boards that around 30% of top management has an engineering background, and another 50 to 60% has an economics background. So almost everyone in the board loves numbers. And not just the board, but for those who love a wonderful story, you know, possibly The Little Prince, even he, you know, reminded us that everyone loves numbers, so we need to present numbers, otherwise we cannot convince our management to do activities. Okay, so I wanted to give you now a couple of examples how I have been managing to get my journey into data with having very little data, that we get things approved. So example number one is on workforce planning. Of course, at one point, time came up and we were in budget planning, and I was asked, okay, how many people you want to hire? Give me a number. And I said, we don't have an HRIS. Where can I look it up? So I was then also, you know, thinking how many applicants do I actually need in order to fulfill a successful pipeline? What kind of skills do we need to hire? And do we have enough? Do I have enough staff and actually to complete that task? So what we did, we actually looked into, I knew how many employees I have currently, I know how much revenues we are making currently, and there was an expectation from the management, what is the vision, how much revenue they want to do in the future. So we calculated actually, okay, more or less what kind of number of hires we could actually expect for the next couple of years. Especially in Germany, we have overtime reports. also overtime reports. Really, if you data mine them, you can uncover and see lots of people are taking more overtime than they should, because that means we have not staffed correctly the current headcount. So we actually need to add on talent. So that helps us also to fine tune our number if we need to hire more people in the future. And then another classical metrics what I have, I know my workforce, I know when they need to retire. I know not in all the countries, since in the UK retirement age has been, is no longer, there is no more default with retirement age, but in Germany we still have, and we know when this is coming up. And even if they consider doing a mini job or a small job later on as a retired person, I know who I need to replace, and I can actually somehow predict it and put a model. And this helped us. We built a model. We calculated how many hires we need. We also learned from previous data how many hires are in our pipeline until we do a successful or a job offer, and it was 6.2. Then we also saw on some of the initiatives how what is our conversion rates, so how many applicants we get referred from some of the employee referral programs or from some of the internal programs what we did. So we had like had an estimate of how many people we need to attract and talk to, that they actually convert to be a candidate and then be in our hiring pipeline. And also what helped us, because with all these numbers, I finally had a business case to say to my management, look, you want me to hire so many, I need an additional recruiter, especially in the area of tech recruiting. We do actually around 50% only active sourcing, because there is no way to find engineers and software people waiting for me or waiting to apply to my company, what few people know. Okay, example number 2 is on employee turnover. This is it's also a very interesting metrics. Again, my management asked me to anonymize all the data what we're showing. As data is gold. We wanted to protect it. We looked into some employee turnover attrition rates, but a very interesting one was this one. So this number, again, it's not the one from our company, but just to give you an example, we looked into how many talent we lose within 6 months being employed. In Germany, it's probationary period. In other countries, you don't have probationary period or much shorter, but we did it globally, and we got kind of similar number and was surprised. And we said, well, this means 2 things. Either it means that our hiring is bad because we haven't hired the correct person, or we have not onboarded the person quite well, so we have done a poor job in actually integrating them into the business. So, and this gives me or leveraged me, arguments that we need to do some measures. And our measures were, we need to, no, too much. It's backwards. Okay, sorry. Okay, we did interview training for our managers. So because we really needed to improve that we hire the right talent. We also did onboarding sessions, and we included our top management that they welcome them. And the beginning they told me, we don't need onboarding session. We can spend our time somewhere else. I said, well, look at the numbers. We need it. And all the statistics, even from other companies, says onboarding sessions is really helpful. And also we started engaging with our new hires prior day 1, so they get an automatic message. We installed a lot of bots. Of course, I had the help from my engineers. But they get automated messages that, hey, we are looking really forward that you come here, look at our website. We have a couple of videos. You get an insight into our culture. We also remind our hiring managers via bot that their new employee is ready to start in 1 month. please think about making an onboarding plan, think about the body, make all these things ready so that your new hire will be wowed when he or she arrives. Okay, and then last example is on leadership training and executive development. My management said as well, okay, we need to do something, we need to create an academy, we need to do something on training, and of course we need to be included. Come up with a plan and tell me something. And I said, well, okay. There was all these questions out there. What kind of strengths and weaknesses do we have our management? What is the competitive edge? So where can we actually use the skills of our top management to define our strategy? Also, what kind of training or coaching is needed and who needs that? And what we did an 360. And again, this is an example how I presented all the information back. And again, lots of numbers because the engineers loved that. We did 360 a few weeks back. We classified then all the numbers of who participated and how many raters and how many questionnaires were completed, how much raters were for managers, and full of numbers, as you see. And then a couple of examples. We received a lot of data based on this process. We learned, for instance, what is the strengths and the weaknesses, so what is the top highlights and what is the lowlights, and it really helped us, okay, what is a reflection of our culture? Obviously, we came quite strong in analytical thinking because we are an engineering company, right? We also saw, what is the comparison between what other people thought and what they have been rated themselves. We did a big summary on all the group data, so we aggregated that, and everyone got also an individual report with lots of numbers and lots of color-coded information and benchmarking back to their team, back to the group result. And what helped us to do all these processes was that we had a very customized approach to who needs to get some coaching, and coaching was for those who had an overall gap between feedback, what others said, and self-appraisal, and training was for those for maybe only one competency. There was something to develop, and my management was really happy because they said, well, this is really cost effective. This is not, we say in German, Gießkanne. Not this is, we have a way of justifying why we spend time on some of our employees. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Daniela, for this interesting